one of the things that I find that like is our experience, I think, in making political points at Queens Against Borders is that we use commonalities, like we try and find a common interest between people that we might not think that we might initially, or not we, but you know, the others, everyone else, might not see as being inherently linked. Yeah. And so one of the first arguments that we made with Queens Against Borders is that there are a lot of, after there was more large-scale migration from Syria, for example, to Germany in 2015 and the years around that there was this racist narrative that more refugees and more Muslim refugees in Germany would be a bad thing for women and queers. So this is a thing that that's been thrown around. So this is one of the earlier points that we made, is that this is like an absurd issue, and that we as queers and people from majority Muslim countries do have a common interest, and that we make a point of articulating that. Yeah. And I think one of the things that's kind of exciting that we're seeing now having a larger sort of voice on national or international political stages is trying to find points of common interest as a basis for solidarity. That climate change is not going to be good of course it's going to be much worse for people in more vulnerable positions in the global south, but increasing inequality, also in Western Europe, is not going to be in the majority of people in Western Europe's interest either. Mm-hmm. So this kind of ties into this point of intersectionality is a thing that's thrown around in a lot of queer discourse. But Tadjio Müller, who was going to be on the panel but is unfortunately ill, made a really good point when we were talking on the phone, which is that the necessity for an intersectional approach is not necessary because we all need to already be morally pure before we begin to talk about politics, but that the people who are causing the majority of the problems going on right now, the climate crisis, the control of women's bodies, institutional racism, a colonial legacy, are actually all the same people, and they are working together, that they are very well organized, and they've been having a lot of success. True. And so strategically, the only chance that we have to avoid catastrophe or potentially extinction is to be just as well organized and even more effective.